Verbally Effective with Ina Esco is an interview-style podcast that intersects art, culture, politics, and entertainment with a Memphis focus. Each week, I'm joined by a featured guest with roots in Memphis. Verbally Effective delves into each guest's personal journey to uncover the incredible stories fueling their purpose, the highs and lows of their pursuits, and how through their passion, they are moving the culture forward. Greetings, and welcome to another edition of the Verbally Effective Podcast. I'm your host, your double E, Ina Esco. I hope everyone has been having an amazing week. And as you know, this is the podcast that intersects art, culture, politics, entertainment with a Memphis flair. And today, I have with me my esteemed guest. He is the CEO of Patten Entertrainment and a two-time award-winning children's author. I also have a few more titles to add, but I'm wondering if we should get into conversation first because he is going to be speaking at TEDx Orangemound in a couple of weeks. I have with me Mr. Warren Patten Jr. How are you, Mr. Patten?
I am doing wonderful. I am here with the incomparable Ina Esco in the Verbally Effective Podcast. I'm so excited to be here, finally.
I'm so glad you're here, Mr. Patten.
Yes.
I remember when you first came through the door during a technical workshop and stole my heart that day. The energy that you bring, where do you get this beautiful personality from?
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm serious. I am so serious.
I'm a late bloomer. Because you would not have known me in high school. I didn't say 2 or 3 words.
I don't believe it.
I played basketball, but I wasn't ready to shine. But when I got to college.
Oh, that opened it up.
Oh, I had my own band. I was a lead singer of a 3-piece band. I played basketball.
I need to know the turning point, baby. But before we go there, let's start at the beginning, okay?
Yes.
What part of Memphis are you originally from?
Ooh, that's a tough question because, you know, I'm a regular Memphis baby. We traveled. I'm from North Memphis, South Memphis. I went to probably 5 different elementary schools.
Really? Why so much traveling?
Well, it's just the way it was back then. We didn't have that much money. My dad was working, my stepfather, he was working very hard, and my mother wasn't working. So I lived on Shannon Street, Greenwood.
I know where Shannon Street.
Yep.
I know what. Okay.
North Memphis, Greenwood, Inglewood, and then finally, when I was about 10 years old, we moved to Bethel Grove.
Okay.
And that's where we settled down. So I'm really kind of from Bethel Grove by way of Orangemound. Okay. Because I went to Melrose High School.
I see that. I see. You know, you Melrose folks, y'all are super proud, and as you should be.
Yes. But see, the weird part about it, while living in Bethel Grove, I wasn't supposed to. They were busing us to Wooddale.
Okay.
But my mother said, oh, no, me and your father went to Melrose, and so will you. So she took me up to the Board of Education, and she said, I want my son in Melrose these 3 years. So I went to Melrose.
And what did Melrose look like then? What year is this?
Well,
around what age?
Well, you got to remember, I went to the old Melrose, the traditional one, when I was in the 7th and 8th grade. Then I did get bused to Airways Middle School.
Okay.
And I had to do that. Then when they built a new Melrose, and that's the one that's on Dedrick, and that was the one I went to from the 10th grade to the 12th grade. Okay. And that was a new school. So I've been to both Melrose schools, the one my mother and father went to, as well as the new one.
What's so great about Melrose? Why are you all so freaking proud of Melrose? I know it's something.
It's something. I believe it's just the culture of success that it brings, the togetherness, I believe. And even though I didn't live in Orangemound, now my family, the Patten side of the family was from Orangemound on Mariana. So I was there quite a bit. So I can say I'm from Orangemound as well, because I spent a whole lot of time over grandmother's house and playing the piano and cutting the grass, you know, doing all of the things that a little boy does. But I think it's just that pride. And plus, you know, it's one of the most established black communities.
Indeed.
and it's it's self-sufficient. It had everything that it needed, and I think they're still trying to keep that going. They're doing much great work.
A lot of great work in Orangemound, North Memphis as a whole.
Yeah, it is a lot of things going on. So that's why we're proud.
Okay, I got you. Back to the family dynamic.
Yes.
Brothers and sisters?
Yes, I grew up with 3 sisters, 1 brother, and we have different fathers. My father was away. He went away when I was younger, but that's okay. He came back and he became an outstanding person.
Okay.
But I was raised with my stepfather, who was a World War II veteran, and he was strict and strong. But he taught me everything, I needed to know about being a hard worker, because that's what he did.
But I agree with you, because my dad is retired Army, and they're very, they're disciplined. It's all about discipline, structure.
Yes.
Yeah, so I empathize with you.
And I use all of that now with my family, but not as strong. You try? I'm not as strong, because there's a side of me that wanted to see him be more vulnerable, to talk to me and love me a little bit. And I missed that, but me missing that made me do it more for my sons. So I'm the opposite in that way. Even though I'm structured, I show my sons a lot of love, and I know they're sometimes they'll get a little uncomfortable, but I think they're used to it now, since they're all
they'll
grown.
teach their sons.
And I'm seeing that they have their sons. 2 of them have sons, and I'm
Mr.
like,
Patten, you a granddaddy around here.
I am a granddaddy of
proud
3.
Grandpa. Okay, I love it.
A little girl and 2 little boys. All 5 years old. Well, this year they'll be 6. The little boy and little girl will be 6, and then we have a 3-year-old son.
I love it, because you just gave us some insight into your relationship with your stepfather growing up, and a lot of what you talk about is relationships and being a father, right?
Yes.
So tell me about your relationship with your birth father.
Well, it was off to a rocky start. I did not meet him until I was about 13, when he came back to Memphis.
Okay.
But the great thing about it, my mother was always positive. She told me the truth now, but she was always positive about him, and she wanted me to meet him. He had some struggles with some drinking and smoking, but then he turned himself in and cleaned himself up. And
amen.
That's when I saw him in me, and I saw me in him.
And such an important age for you.
Yes.
13, that's a pivotal age.
Yeah. But it didn't start changing until I was in my 20s.
The changes.
The actual changes. But I was with him. We spent some time together. I had to be very careful, about my time with him. And my mother said, be very careful. But he was right over there in Orangemound, and I used to ride my bicycle to go see him, because I couldn't let him drive me. And then I ride my bicycle back in the dark. So I was pretty brave back then.
But I can remember that.
Yeah, but our relationship has been wonderful ever since he stopped drinking and smoking. He's been there. It's just amazing. It's a wonderful thing, and he turns 88 this year.
Oh wow, he's still here. That is so beautiful and such a blessing. That's such a blessing.
It is.
Wow.
So there's 4 generations. My oldest son did a generational video with me, him, and the youngest one, and it's wonderful.
And is that why you fostering your relationship with your father? Is that why it's so important for you to talk about fatherhood?
Yes, any chance I get, I try to talk about it. That's why I wrote the book. Number 1, it's about fatherhood, and I took it so seriously, and I think it's something that was my purpose growing up. And I didn't know it then, but a lot of things happened that led me to be a great father. And I wanted to be a great father, and I was working on it. So it's not like I stumbled into it. I did a lot of things differently in order to be a great father. And I was lucky to find my wife, who was my sweetheart, my college sweetheart.
I can't wait to meet her. I know you have just an amazing wife.
Yes, she is pretty awesome. And, we talked about our upbringing. She had her struggles. Her father was also an alcoholic, and it was 9 of them, and it was just 5 of us. And I'm the oldest of 5, and I did all of pretty much the babysitting and everything. So I kind of say I've already raised some children by the time I was a senior, and then I went off to college. But she was the second of 9, but she was the one that did all of the raising of her brothers and sisters. The oldest, she did her own thing.
So you all have like that matriarch, patriarch instilled in your DNA.
You said that, yes.
Yes.
Early on, we did, and that's I think that's something that we had in common. We wanted to shake the trees of tradition. We wanted to do things differently, even though we didn't have it. We wanted to give it to our sons, and we tried to have that girl, but sometimes we ain't in charge. So we have 5 sons.
5 sons.
Yes.
Being just a black man in America in 2024 comes with a lot.
It does. There are a lot of things. And I empathize with them because they say we make it look so easy. My wife and I make it look so easy. It's not easy, and it's never been easy, and I know it's tough for them. They're trying to navigate a different kind of world, a different kind of, upbringing, and of course their upbringing is different than their friends, and they're looking at that like, wow, I didn't realize how good I had it.
Exactly.
I didn't realize, and my mother and father are still there, and we're not overbearing parents. We're not always calling them, did you do this, did you do that?
The helicopter parents.
Yes, we didn't. We wanted them to be self-sufficient, grown men, making their decisions, but they call us all the time and want advice. It's like, what? You want advice?
I would love for my son to call me, okay? Like call literally, and I get this little 2-worded text. Okay.
Give it time. Give it time.
Time. Okay, give me a time frame.
With boys, you just don't know.
I know.
That's one thing I had to tell my wife. I said, we want them to they're grown. They may be 21, but the mind is still 15.
Developing.
And we got to give them time. We got to stay with them through that process and not get upset about it.
Yeah.
And we
just
see
let
it in
them know
all
that
of our
we're
sons.
here.
Yeah. And they will get to the point where they feel like, okay, I'm going to have to figure this out on my own.
Okay. I'm listening.
Yes.
I'm listening. I've learned to kind of tone it down with my mouth. Yeah. And that works. It works.
It does.
It works. Because
and they're listening to you.
Yeah.
They're listening, but we want it when we want it. But we can't have it when we want it. It has to happen when they figure it out and they feel good about themselves, because self-esteem is so critical.
True.
And sometimes we beat them down by being right there. It's not that we're trying to. It's just the fact that we won't let them grow. We're holding them back. Now, come on. I told you to do this.
It's hard to see your baby bump their head so hard after you already told them to do the things to avoid the bumping of the head.
But didn't we bump our head?
We did.
Well, let them.
They learning their lessons.
They learning their lesson. Let them bump their head a little bit more. And plus, they hard headed. They're ready. They're ready.
Yeah. You know what? At the start of the pod, I remember you saying that you were playing your piano at your grandmother's home. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about that, because, if you didn't know, Mr. Patten is an artiste. He can sing. He's a musician. He has actual music that he has put out in these musical streets.
Yes.
So let's get into where it all began and your relationship with music.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, that was way back in the day. I was probably 5, 6 years old.
5, 6.
On that home in Mariana, my grandmother was a piano teacher, and she taught a lot of kids in Orangemound. Yes, she did. I thought it was just the family kids, but I'm learning more and more. I met someone 2 weeks ago and said, your mother gave me piano lessons. What? So she gave me piano lessons.
What is her name? Because someone listening may have had lessons from her right now.
Ruby Patten. Ruby Patten. She was something else. If you get my now I won't go there. But she gave me lessons for a couple of years, but I was trying to get outside and play, but I took that. I never did learn how to play notes really well. That's the one downfall about it. But I had a good ear, and I kept playing. I was in a play in the 9th grade where I had to play a song on stage, and that was my first time. And I played "I'll Take You There" by the Staple Singers.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what? I am playing piano on stage. And I played Pink Panther, a couple of songs, and I kept playing. And then as I started to fall in love with music, I started trying to play the music on the piano that I was hearing on the radio. And then came along the Commodores. And it's just something about it. I could play every single Commodore song there was.
What was it about the Commodores? Because you know I love me some Lionel.
Oh my goodness.
Lionel.
You know, when he started talking, instead of just singing, when he was talking, oh girl, then you came into my life. You made my jagged edges. You know, I was like, Lionel, he's not even singing.
All right.
And then the music started. I was like, I can do that. I can do that. So that's when I really got into playing the piano a little bit more. And I just fell in love with it. And of course, my mother, she sang in the choir.
Okay. That's where you get that voice from?
Yes, I believe that's where I get my voice from. And then I kept playing. And then when I got to college, popular music was so awesome. And I used to go to the student union and play the piano every night after basketball practice. You know, I do my homework, then I go into the student union. And I would play the songs and I would sing. And I was doing concerts. And the piano was facing the wall. I did not realize behind me was a whole group of people sitting
An
there.
audience.
Yes.
Come on.
And that's when I was like, I can do this. And then time passed when I graduated. And I was playing all these covers. My best friend, he wanted to be a singing star. His name is Charles. And he said, Warren, you ought to take some of those poems you got and turn them into songs. You can play the piano. And that's when I first started writing songs.
Come on, songwriter.
And one of the first ones I think we wrote together is on my Fantasy Cruise CD.
Yes, that was released in 1993.
Yes, but I've kept it fresh because back then it was a cassette. Maxi cassette. And then as music evolved, I said I wanted it to be digital. I made it a CD, and then I wanted it to be digital. So now it's on the social media. You can get it on Apple Music, Spotify. It's everywhere.
Mr. Patten.
So I'm keeping it fresh. And then, of course, on my YouTube channel, I sang a couple of them. And I actually sang. People say, "Did you lip sync?" No, that's me singing. So.
That is him singing, and you just had a release last year.
Yes, I re-released it, 2 songs from that Fantasy Cruise, and but that's exactly why I love music, and I'm still writing music. And I wrote another song called "Give Me Your Love," and I hope to release that next month. And I also wrote a song called "Pride," which was really inspired by the George Floyd killing. And then all of a sudden, when Tyreek Nichols passed, that's when I got the buzz to do it again, because I wrote the song back in 2020 and I did have some music to it, but when Tyreek Nichols was killed, that was the thing that said, Warren, get it done. So I got it done, and I want to release that next month.
That lit a fire.
It did. And it was time. So
Tyreek Nichols' death, how did that affect Warren Patten Jr.?
Ooh. You gonna have me crying on this podcast? Don't do that.
Well, if you must, if you must,
it is tough to witness. Number one, witness, because sometimes we don't see everything that's happening.
Right.
We just hear about it.
To see it is something different.
But to witness it, and no one, even in that situation, no one stopped it. No one said that's enough. Oh, stop it right now. We've gone too far. No one came with sense to say, that's enough. They just kept on going.
And so many people that looked just like him.
That hurt. Which was even worse. Even worse.
It just hit a different way.
It did. And that's why I had to do my song. I was like, this is exactly what the song is about. So that impacted me. I didn't call my sons after this one. I was too tore up. I was like, I have no answers for this one. And I just hope we can recover and justice will do what it needs to do. But I think that's going to be a lesson to all of us, because we had someone to blame who was a different race with George Floyd.
You're right.
Now what do we do?
That was a hard conversation to have with our children.
Yeah. We eventually, but I didn't call them on this one. They called me. But on George Floyd, I called them. I was right on the phone. But on this one, they said, Daddy, that shouldn't happen. I'm like, you're right, it should not. And you hear some of the stories, you don't know what to believe and why, but why even ask why? I'm really done with asking why.
Yeah.
It just shouldn't happen. There should be no reason. So.
You're right. And just like a true artist, you put your feelings, your thoughts into your music.
Yes, and when that Pride song, it took a long time to do it because I couldn't I couldn't finish singing it. All of the images keep coming back, and I was like, oh, I have to really compartmentalize what I'm trying to say to get the message across. But I'm super sensitive. So when you ask me what genre of music, I pretty much write love songs. It's all about love
songs. Okay, and Mr. Patten, I will say this, because at the beginning of the podcast, I also heard you say that you were shy when you were young.
Yes.
But to meet you today, look, when we have our workshops and Mr. Patten comes and he is called to the floor, he is a light, like beaming out. Okay. Now, I also heard you say that things changed for you when you went to college.
Yes.
Tell me when you went to college and what changed.
Well, out of high school, I got a basketball scholarship to West Star Community.
Oh, you was hoping.
Yes, I was.
And I gotta see the tapes.
Melrose is known for having hoopers. And
what was your position?
I was the point guard, starting point guard.
Point guard. But you're so tall. I thought you may be like a under the goal.
Like I said, I'm a late bloomer. When I was in the 9th grade and I first started playing basketball, I was the shortest on the starting 5, and I was the center.
How tall were you?
5'9".
And how tall are you now?
5'11". So when I went to Melrose, I grew a whole 2 inches. I was like, Lord, please give me some height. Inches. And I grew a whole 2 inches, and I'm pretty tall for the men in the Patten family. And I couldn't, since I could still jump really good, but I had to teach myself how to be a guard, how to dribble, and because I was a center. So I spent a lot of time in front of my mother's van in my reflection, dribbling, so I wouldn't look at the basketball. And I lived right across the street from a park, and when other kids say, "Warren, come over and play," nope, I'm practicing. So I had to work on my craft in order to get into that starting lineup at Melrose, because those guys had been playing for years and they were established. I had to get in, so and I was able to. So I got to West Star Community College, stayed there for 2 years, transferred to Eastern Illinois University up in Charleston, Illinois, and I started point guard there as well. While I was there, didn't do too much at West Stark as far as I was in a theater. And that might have been the bug right there.
I think so.
We used to build our own sets and everything. It was just really grassroots, theater. And
what did you love about theater? Because I was in theater too.
You were.
Yes. Are you surprised?
Not really, because I know I've seen you enough now to know that you've got that skill.
I love theater.
Oh my goodness! I did a couple of musicals there, and where I had to sing and. Some comedy. It was a play called The Tavern.
I could see that.
And I was the sheriff, but I was the good sheriff and the bad sheriff.
Not the good and the bad.
I had to do both. So I wore a black suit to be bad, but I wore a white hat to put off the image that I was good. And I just got all into that role. And then when I went to Eastern, I got back into I played basketball and theater. And then I was playing the piano in the student union, and a guy came up to me and he said, "Do you play for a band?" I said, "No, I'm just playing for myself." He said, "You interested in making a band?" I said, "Well, yes." I said, "What do you do?" And he plays the drums. So he started bringing his drum set over, and now we're playing.
Making of the band.
Yes, the making of the band. And then, I'm singing, but I said I could sing better if I could find a piano player, even though I love playing the piano. And then all of a sudden, this young lady behind us said, she said, "I can play the piano."
Where'd she come from?
Yeah, okay. But she was classically trained, and she played very hard, doom, 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 all the notes. And she was good. She could play all the notes. So we had to get her to soften up a little bit. And one of my favorite songs back then, of course, Lionel Richie, was Endless Love. And I wanted to do a duet. And I wanted her to play it so beautifully, but she was just playing the notes. I said, "Loosen up and just let it flow." My love. She said, "Oh, I get it. And it took her a while, and then she started crying. Now you know it has to feel good, not just sound good.
You had to use that Commodore example.
Yes. So, and that's how it really started.
Okay. And you just
and I started to blossom.
Blossomed.
Yes. And
what did blossoming look like? Outside of music.
Outside of music?
Socially, what did it look like? That's where I'm going.
Wait a minute now. You're trying to get...
You was all shy, so We out here.
I was still pretty shy. I met my wife when she was a freshman. I was a junior.
At
Eastern. At Eastern,
okay,
yes.
gotcha.
I did have a girlfriend at West Stark, but we cut that off because I was moving on. I was
moving
moving on. And when I met my wife, she was my girlfriend, we were both kind of low key. We didn't need a lot of attention, even though I got attention in the theater. I got a lot of attention on the basketball court. I got a lot of attention with my band, and she was there very supportive. But that was me. That was the new me. I could do all of that and still get my studies because I had to graduate.
Were those grades looking good?
They were not looking good at first because some of my grades from West Stark didn't transfer. I was learning as I go.
Okay.
So, but the Lord works, and it's amazing how He works. I was a basketball player, of course, and in one of the games, I broke my kneecap.
Not just the kneecap?
It just broke. It just popped. I didn't hit anyone. They were just sore from me dancing. I'm going to tell you
You're
about
a dancing machine as well.
That was back when Michael Jackson had dancing machine was out.
So what was the move?
We were doing. What
was the move?
We were space lockers.
Show me. Up.
And I hit my knees, and I hit my knees too many times. Yes, I did.
Dang.
But when I broke my kneecap, I thought I had lost I knew I was through playing basketball. It was my senior year. And then I thought I was not going to have a full scholarship to go back to school to complete my studies. But they extended my scholarship.
Wow.
So the Lord just really took care of me. And that's when I was able to make up that time with my grades. Now, my GPA was good, yes, but I had to have the right classes and in order to get my scholarship, to get my degree.
Wow.
Yep. So, and I ended up finishing with a speech communication degree and a theater minor.
Wow.
And I'm still using that speech communications degree right now. I've been using it.
My next question was, when you graduated, because oftentimes we graduate from college and we don't necessarily get into the field immediately that we were trained for. Did that happen for you?
It did. When I came back to Memphis, I did join a theater group for a short period of time.
Were you trying to be an actor?
I was trying to be an actor, yes. And I was trying to actually get into radio and TV.
Okay.
Because I took
can
those
see that
classes.
too.
I tried to do that, but it was tight. It was tough to get into any of the radio stations here back then. And then the acting thing was tough because they did a lot of things that I didn't do. Drinking, smoking, drugging.
Really?
I did not do.
That's what the acting scene was looking like?
That acting scene, not all.
Okay.
Just that acting scene. But it was a great play, and I did do some singing in it. I think I sang Let's Straighten It Out by
Let's
Lattimore.
Straighten It Out. Okay, I got that.
They say you can do that. And and I worked at a couple of jobs that didn't really have my theater, my communications. But I finally found my niche. I started working at McDonald's, and it seemed like it didn't have anything to do with my communication skills. But like I said earlier, I wanted to be a different kind of manager, and I put myself on a fast track to be a supervisor. They usually they have their picks. I was no one's pick. I picked myself.
Okay.
But I did exactly what the O&T manual, meaning the book says you're supposed to do to make profit and all that. I did. I was very structured. From my stepfather, very structured, organized. I did everything I was supposed to do. I love rules. I followed the rules, and I was able to be successful. And then when I became a supervisor with the McDonald's, that's when my speech communication skills, because they were like, yeah, he might be making money, but he can't do anything else. And then when they said, you want to do a presentation? Well, of course.
Oh, you shined, didn't you?
I did. I was not shy then. And I did my presentation, and of course, on one of the presentations, I did a song.
You did a song on a presentation for the people.
Because I'm a songwriter, I came up with a song using the words of McDonald's, and I put it to Kirk Franklin's Stomp.
Oh, I love that song.
And this is a business meeting, and they don't know that I'm going to do this. And I just pop up, and I'm playing the song, and I'm singing the song, but I'm replacing it with McDonald's lyrics. And at first, they're sitting like, what's going on? And then eventually, I got everybody clapping.
And then you stole the show.
Stole the show. And that started me really kind of writing jingles because I also, dabble in that a little bit. I have,
okay. Ain't nothing like a little jingle money now.
Well, I'm trying. A lot of McDonald's don't like to use outside. They just like to use internal things. But hey, I worked for McDonald's for years, and I got a frappe song. I got all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Wow. You know what? And this really goes into you being the CEO of Patten Entertrainment. I didn't say entertainment.
No,
I said Entertrainment.
You kind of said entertainment too, because I put that together.
You put that together. Tell me all about Patten Entertrainment.
Well, it is my entrepreneurial spirit, because I've had a couple of other businesses along the way. You didn't hear about those.
Know how we entrepreneurs do.
Trying,
we have to figure it out.
We do. And this is a way for me to be a leadership coach and or a motivational speaker. I really want to work with the quick service restaurant industry to try to see if we can get leaders instead of bosses. And that's one of the things I put on social media. Retire your boss. Hire a leader. Now, some people might say, well, you talking about firing somebody. I said, no, just train the boss to be a leader. Help them evolve, because sometimes they're stuck in 2010. This is 2024. It's all about retention, empathy, love, emotional understanding, and that's what we're trying to do. So with Patten Entertainment, my content is under something that I came up with, emotional evolution.
Emotional evolution.
Yes. Now, we've heard about emotional intelligence, but that's just the brain. Emotional evolution is when you put the brain with the heart. Then you can find empathy.
Yes.
And talk real to the managers. Sometimes they need to hear that you're just wrong. Don't talk down to people. Talk up to people. Lift up your people. You can be successful. Train your replacement. Some people will keep people down so they won't take their position. But also at the same time, encourage those people that may be talked down to have a voice, to grow. Because I was that person. I was talked down to by a manager, and I'm like, no, I think I could be better than you in 2 years.
And did.
And
got your job.
Exactly. Well, I became a supervisor quicker, even though they've been around for a long time. And not bragging about it. It's just sometimes you got to stand up for yourself and let your voice be heard. And you got to do things the correct way. I'm kind of struggling with the word right, because people say, that ain't right. Well, there is a correct way, though. If you do it the correct way, you should have success. And people actually listen to you when you know what you're talking about, and you can show proof of what you're talking about. And because they're always looking for, what did you do wrong? I did it the correct way.
And lead with that.
And then you get followers. Oh, my goodness. You get people that want to do things the correct way instead of people that just want to get by. Ooh.
Emotional evolution.
You got to evolve. Here we are in 2024, and people are still stuck in so many different places. And if we just evolve with our heart a little bit more, because a lot of people are knowledgeable, but they don't let it go with the heart. And that's when things will start to get better. And I think that's not just in the quick service industry. I think it can be everywhere. It
can be everywhere, Mr. Patten. And I'll tell you what about evolving. You are a TEDx Orangemound speaker.
Yes, I am.
Okay?
Yes.
I want to know on this Wednesday, June 12th, because you have not performed yet.
No, I have not.
You perform on the 22nd.
Yes, I do.
And where will it be located?
At the Orangemound Community Center, but it's right on the corner of Dallas and Park.
What time?
It's going to be 2 sessions. A morning session starts at 9, and then they'll have about 6 speakers, and then it's going to be an afternoon session starts at 2, and I will be the first speaker.
You're number one. You're going to set the tone
on the afternoon session. Yes, I am.
And tell us the theme of this TEDx talk.
This is Crossing Paths, which is outstanding. I love the theme for it, and it's really, I think it really speaks to how we're trying to build a different community, build a different world together, and bring people from with different ideas together to make things move forward for progress. And that's what it's looking like. And I'm hoping my speech will do something about that.
Could you give us just a little bit of your talk?
Just a little bit. It's just going to be about fathers.
I knew it.
It's just have to talk more about fathers. And you know, the thing about fathers, don't brag. They don't talk a lot, you know. But I really want fathers to speak up a little bit more. I'm hoping I get more fathers to open up their mouths and say, this is what I'm doing. I am the patriarch of my family. I am proud of my son. I'm proud of my daughter. This is what me and my family do. You know, things like that. But, you know, you don't hear a lot about it. But we need to start talking about it. We need more examples of great fathers.
This is going to be good.
It is. I'm excited. Oh, you can already tell I'm excited.
I know you're excited. How did you feel when you got the phone call or the email that you were selected?
I was rolling on the floor. Well, I'm already, you know, I love to dance. And I did a little video, but I didn't put it out because I wasn't
You need to put it out before June 22nd. Remember we talked about behind the scenes?
Yes, we did talk about behind the scenes.
I know.
It's amazing. I was so thrilled. And I had so many ideas on what I wanted to talk about, but I had to tailor it down because there's a lot of rules with TEDx that you have to, you know.
Give me a couple that you know stand out. When you heard about the rules, just give me like, you know, one or two that stood out. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and some of them I kind of knew because I, you know, of course, I did my homework. I went to a TEDx event a year ago. And I had a book and everything, and I went to YouTube and looked at a lot of videos. But they want you to steer clear of a strong political, you know, discussion, religious, things like that, because that can just, you know, turn people away. If you got a great idea and you think it'll help everyone, not just some people, everyone. And I think that's the good part about it.
And your talk with fatherhood is definitely going to do that.
Everyone. Yes. Everyone.
Everybody got a father.
You hope so. Or a father figure.
You had to get here.
Yeah, but or a father figure.
Or a father figure. You're right.
Which is,
you're right.
You know, and that's sometimes we don't think about that. There's, you know, I had in high school, my mother asked a church member who actually was my teacher. She said, my son needs someone to talk to because his stepfather is, you know, just not that person. So she asked him to talk to me, and he was my English teacher. And I didn't know she did that. She didn't tell me. But he called me into there, and he started talking to me, and he just, you know, he was just going to be that father figure, somebody I can talk to. And he just told me, he said, if you want to talk about anything, come talk to me. I said, but you're my teacher. I can't talk to you about anything. I'm so sorry. He said, you can talk to me. So after school, I tested him. I came in there and talked to him, Mr. Powell.
He said he tested him, Mr. Powell.
I said, yeah, and he let me talk. He didn't share anything. He just let me, you know,
build that trust.
Build that trust. And he was very inspirational in me writing my children's book because he was my English teacher.
Oh, wow.
He turned me on to Shakespeare. And my children's book is written as a sonnet poem, which Shakespeare invented.
Wow.
So it's still sticking with me after all these years. I just love poetry too, but you know.
Yes, a man of many talents.
I'm trying my best. And this is fun though. It's fun to be me and to enjoy it. And a lot of the things I didn't do because I wanted to be a great father, and I put a lot of things to the side in order to do that. But a lot of those things I did with my sons. We got some videos from back in the day where you wouldn't believe.
That's beautiful to enjoy the things you really want to do with your sons.
And I'm trying to get them all digitized so that they can share.
Get them digitized.
Yes, get them digitized. Yes, indeed.
Wow. You know what's so interesting to me is that, you know, when we talked about fatherhood, you said you want fatherhoods to speak up more, right?
Yes.
And I'm glad you said that because now we're going to dibble and dabble into little Esco's Pop Talk.
Let's go. Let's
see if you're going to talk a little bit more about these topics.
Look at you, got some skills. Yes, you are. That's nice.
All right. So, did you know that June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month?
Yeah, you know, I didn't know much about that. I'm glad you told me, though.
Yes.
You are just a wealth of knowledge. I'm going to make a note of that because it is key for men's mental health.
But that aligns with, you know, you wanting fathers to speak up more.
Yes, indeed. And this is this is the time, I think, in our generation where we have a voice and we've done so many things. There are so many great fathers who are doing great things, but they keep it a secret. They just don't want to put it out there. Mm-hmm. And I wish that they would. And that was one thing that I did, in my workplace. I would tell everyone what my sons did. They want to talk about basketball or politics. Let me tell you about my son, mm-hmm. And all 5 of them, I'd just let them know. So they knew then that I was serious about being a father. And I think being a father and talking about it helps your mental health.
I agree.
I believe it helps you when you can feel good about what your sons do. Mm-hmm. And if they mess up, you can talk about how you help straighten them out a little bit, So,
but why is there such a stigma around men talking about their feelings?
That's a heavy one.
Shame?
Yeah, some of it is shame because sometimes we don't know if we're doing a good job. And we need the support from the mothers of those children. And we need the support from our mothers because sometimes mothers make it very difficult to speak. Right. And that's one thing that I've even told my wife. And I know she won't be upset when I say this, but we got a house full of young men. And she can ask 8 rapid-fire questions, and they can't answer. And then she'll say, "Are you going to respond? Are you listening to me?" And I was, "Miss Pat, ask one question and let them answer that first before you hit them with the second one." It's a young man. We don't have the words. Males don't have enough words to catch up.
I see.
So we had to parent differently, and then I had to say, sit down. What about, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to answer that question. And they were gun shy because they was waiting on the second and third question to come right behind it.
Because they were used to bam, bam.
Yes. And that's just,
that make a lot of sense.
It's just, the way it is. We're brought up in it. My mother did it to me.
And I'm doing it now to my 18-year-old and my 10-year-old.
And I think there's a time where a man should have the nerve to say something to his wife. But it has to be received. It has to be that respect that it's received, and the understanding has to be there. And sometimes it takes a while. It wasn't quick, and sometimes you gotta wait, and then you gotta have that discussion later on and say, now you asked him 8 questions and he only answered 1. Are you happy with your questioning skills? But you're trying to say, calm down first. Let's calm down.
Calm down, Mrs. Patten.
I'm just trying to, I want there to be communication. And here it is. I'm a communication degree.
I like your approach.
Yeah.
And I hope this conversation helps someone that is listening to this podcast, especially with it being Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
We definitely need it. Men have to really feel confident in themselves that they have a voice, that they are doing a very good job. And they have to be brave. Oh my goodness, I didn't know if I was going to say that. But you have to be brave. Even though we don't have enough words to out-talk our spouse, but we have enough emotional feelings to say, okay, let's have another discussion, but not right now. You're a little bit upset. Let's circle back. But we need to talk about this. And I write down everything. So, Ms. Patten, it's time to talk about A and B.
Okay. Communicator.
After we calm down. And we've heard the term, de-escalate. Come on. That's what it's, we don't have to say the term. You just got to pick the right time to have the discussion. Not the argument, the discussion. Everything does not have to be an argument. It can just be a discussion.
Do you have arguments?
No, we didn't have many arguments.
Okay.
I didn't want that. I didn't want my sons to see arguments. I saw that growing up.
So they saw discussions.
They saw discussions. Some of the discussions we had with them in the room. Some discussions we had when they weren't in the room. But they saw discussions. They didn't see mom and daddy fight or have an argument. You wrong, I'm right. None of that. We're working this together. What are we going to do as a team? Because we are a united front.
And was mom immediately on board with that initially?
Yes. I think it was different for her because now she's looking at a man who's different than her father.
Yes. See that cycle that kind of break. Emotional evolution.
Yes, she had, her father was, had a lot to be desired. And of course, when you grow up with your sisters having boyfriends who were not the example of what you wanted to see, and then you're taking a chance on a guy you met at college and you don't know. But we just did a lot of talking. That's the one thing that we dated for 4 years, and then we were married, and we had our first child probably 4 years later. So, late bloomers, but we planned everything. We had a lot of discussion about what kind of parents we wanted to be. But she knew right on what kind of father I wanted to be. But I think she knew what kind of mother she wanted to be, but, for a long time she was just really strict, really say you got to loosen up a little bit. You got to loosen up, And then we found the sweet spot where, But I think I still created that because by me helping raise my sisters and brothers, I was able to really help. I wasn't the traditional father who said, like my stepfather, a woman's place is in the kitchen. You cooked a dinner, you better have it done by the time I got in. I would cook 2 days early, warm it up, and put it in the refrigerator. Because my wife also worked. So when she came in, all she probably had to do, and I worked the evening shift, she would just have to warm it up, and they'd have dinner. So we still had dinner at the kitchen table. And when I was there, I would cook, And when she cooked a big meal, I'd wash the dishes. So there was and I think those things made her say, oh, he is going to help me. And it's not just left up to her, especially with 5 sons. And she was an educator.
It means a lot when your hubby helps out.
Yes.
And when your hubby, teaches you certain things that maybe you really needed to know when you were growing up. Like you said, you looking at your father and situations that should have been different. Right, and your husband shows you a new way.
And it's not just a new way; it's just another way.
Another way.
It's not necessary to me. Some of the things I was doing wasn't really new, but she just
it was new to her.
It was new. Yeah, well, that's true. It was new to her, and of course, I know she was thinking he ain't gonna keep doing this, but I was helping with homework and everything because that's another thing. I think sometimes the mother has to do everything. Oh. And I just stepped right in with it. I wanted to learn too. I think as adults, as parents, we have to continue to learn with our children because education also evolves.
That's true. Yeah.
So I jumped
curriculums
right in.
now are different.
Of course. And the expectation was for my sons was, well, Mama already a teacher. She's going to teach us. I said, no, your father is in the room. Now let's get out this multiplication facts. We're going to learn just 2 times 2 is...
Have you seen how they teach the multiplication nowadays? I had to YouTube their method.
Yes.
What is this?
What is this? And you had to learn it.
I had to learn it.
In order to teach it.
Because I was like, I don't want to confuse you and show you how I did it.
That's right. Because it's not arithmetic no more.
Oh, my. I didn't want him to suffer from mental health issues.
And I think a lot of that starts it, too. When you don't have the support from the people who should be supporting you, which is your parents.
Wow. I love this discussion. Also in Esco's Pop Talk, did you hear? Hunter Biden has been found guilty of all charges.
No matter who his daddy is.
And his father is the president of the United States of America. Now, Hunter was wilding out.
He was.
Like, on those drugs, bad. Who do you think got Hunter on those drugs?
Ooh,
I don't know that story.
I don't know that.
I just see the ending.
And the beginning. I think because his father's been in politics forever.
A very long time.
A long time. But I think sometimes they just get a little bit too happy and they fall into the wrong crowd and can't get out.
Yes.
And he has to pay for his crime.
He does, and he is paying for a crime stemming from a 2018 purchase of a gun, a Colt revolver, while battling crack cocaine addiction. He lied on, I believe, the form.
Yes.
Because it asks about drugs. He probably was high.
At the time.
I'm sure.
And had to lie.
And here we are, and he's been found guilty. And I did see President Biden come out and say he's still supporting his son.
Yes, they love him, and which you should as a father and the mother as well. But don't do any special favors. He made his bed. No, I'm going to take your word. He bumped his head.
bumped his head.
And he's got to learn his lesson. And how old is he? He's probably in his 50s.
He is.
And he's still learning. So that's why I think it's key that we sometimes let our children bump their head, fall off the bicycle, scrape a knee, and sometimes some need to be close to death in order to understand, I messed up so bad, and now I have to pay for it.
Do you think Hunter Biden will go to the good jail or to the normal jail?
He has special privileges because his father is a president, so he will go to the good jail.
So he's going to like an apartment for like so many years.
No, I think it's a special prison for those, well-to-doers. He won't struggle very much. It must be nice, but they're going to have to protect him.
He does need protection, right?
He does need protection, so he's going to have to be in a place where he can be protected because he is the son of the sitting president.
And I thought it was so interesting. Me and my 10-year-old, we were sitting down eating dinner yesterday evening, and I had the CBS Evening News on. They were talking about Hunter being found guilty. And Eli says, Mom, but that's the president's son. He's going to jail. Like, he could not wrap his brain. He said, what did he do? I said, he made some terrible decisions, had some issues with drugs. He said, but he's the son of the president. We put the president on such a high pedestal.
Yes, we do.
But the world does.
I was about to say that. We put all celebrities in a different category. We think that they, of course, have enough money to slide by. But also in the last 5, maybe 6, 7 years.
We've seen a slippery slope.
We have seen some come to Jesus meetings
Man.
with a lot of people who have been doing some wrong things, and they've been called to the carpet, and they're going to have to pay for their sins.
Yes.
And pay for their misgressions. I'm not going to say sins so much because I don't want to be the judge of what's a sin, but their discretions along the way and the people that they've affected, and the list goes on. And it's unfortunate. It's a lot of men, a lot of powerful men, and we see Joe Biden as a powerful man, and that's why your son sees his son. He's going to get a free ride, right? No, because he already said, "I'm not going to pardon him." He's going to do his time. It may not be as much, but he's found guilty.
Wow. You know what? I think we're going to pin a nail in Esco's Pop Talk and head on over to a segment I like to call Fill in the Line.
Oh, my goodness.
And see, you're a singer, so you will be absolutely fine with this particular segment because I'm going to sing one of your favorite classic R&B songs. I'm going to sing just, a little line. You're going to have to finish the line.
Oh, okay. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Are you ready?
I am
ready. Are you ready, Mr. Patten?
Me.
Look,
yes, I'm ready. I know.
me.
Very nice. Very
nice. Here we go. Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough.
Ain't no river wide enough to keep me from you.
Hey.
Ain't no.
Come on. Okay. You got the first one on.
You did go back on that.
Wait, I'm not ready. Okay.
That was nice.
Here go another one.
Okay.
Loving you weather.
Times are good, bad, happy or sad. Why somebody why people may break up. Turn around and make up.
Hey.
I just can't see.
Come on with the Al Green. And that was so important.
That is good.
Including that particular song. Because
Memphis music.
We just interviewed Al Green last week. And we was just in just such awe of this amazing man that we've listened to our entire lives.
He looks good too.
He sang. He still sound good. Isn't that a blessing?
Yes, it is. I went back and listened to some of his songs too. I don't know what he does with his voice, but it's so unique, so authentic.
And it's so rooted in a spiritual foundation. You can hear it.
You know it when you hear it.
Yes. Yes. Okay, I got another one for you. Hold on.
Goodness, Al Green and
hold on this one. I heard it through the grapevine Not much longer would you be mine.
Baby, I heard it through the grapevine.
Come on.
How much longer would you be mine? Honey, honey, you heard it through the grapevine. How much longer will you be mine?
Ready?
Baby, ding, ding. Ooh, then I heard.
Ooh.
Don't let me get started.
Okay, last one, since you like the
my
Commodores so much.
The test.
And this is my favorite Commodore song.
This is your favorite song? Oh, my goodness.
See, I can't sing like Lionel. Okay, here we go. This is my favorite Commodore song. And like the intro is just nothing but instrumentation. And then Lionel comes in. Okay. Doo-doo, doo. You already know what I'm talking about. I like to greet the sun each morning.
Walk amongst the stars at night.
Yes.
I'd like to know the taste of honey in my life.
Yay.
In my life. I've shared so many pains. And I've shared so many games. Oh, when everyone knows the right way.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Here we go.
Somewhere. Someday.
Man, it's my jam.
That's a great song. And you write the intro.
Yes.
Oh, I can listen to that for hours.
It just sucks you in.
It does.
Like if you don't feel that, I don't know what's wrong with you.
And I had to go back because that's a great song. I had to go find Sunshine by the Commodores.
Is that your favorite?
And I'm high.
Which one is your favorite?
I can't.
Because there's so many.
I can't because I've played them all. I can't have a favorite. There was a while, when in college, I played Truly in Love. So that has
Mike
meaning.
Evans sings that all the time.
See, I heard him this morning trying to sing some more.
He stayed trying to sing something.
But that I sang that song. I was dating my girlfriend, so it meant something. Once, twice, 3 times a lady. It was just so many, and then. Lady, I'm your knight in shining armor.
Oh, that's the jam.
And I love you. So I use knight in some of my songs because of Lionel.
Wow.
Knight in shining armor? Oh, yes. So he got hits upon hits.
He got hits on hits. Did you go to his show?
No, I didn't. I had to take care of some business. I couldn't go.
A lot of people enjoyed it,
but they put it on social media, and I started looking at it, and I was like, Lionel, he got down and played easy. Oh, that might have been the first song that I could play really good all the way through and sing it live.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Well, Mr. Patten, let me tell you something. You really cut up on Finish the Line. You might have been the best one so far.
Oh my goodness, I hope so.
You may have been the best one so far, but I have absolutely adored you here today.
Well, thank you.
On the Verbally Effective Podcast, CEO of Patten Entertrainment and two-time award-winning children's author.
Yes, that is true. I hope
TEDx
you hear
speaker.
More. Yeah, TEDx speaker too. Yes, release some new songs. I'm also a singer, songwriter, podcaster real soon. I'm hopefully Father Notes, the podcast, will be dropping in July.
Okay, and, give them your YouTube channel.
My YouTube channel is at Warren W. Patten Jr. And you'll see everything. I'm trying to post everything that I've put on social media on my YouTube channel.
Spell that out for them.
Warren W. Patten Jr. is WARREN W PATTEN Jr. JR.
Gotcha. And how can we continue to follow your journey other than your YouTube?
You will see me on Instagram at Warren W. Patten Jr. You will see me on Facebook at Warren W. Patten Jr. You will see me on Instagram at Warren Patten Jr. I've had that for a long time. I'm not on Instagram, LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you'll see at Warren W. Patten Jr. I also have websites for my books, Father Notes, Being a Better Father on Purpose, and that website is www.fathernotes.com. And then for my children's books, two-time award-winning Can We Go Out and Play? I want to play all day in the neighborhood.
Hey.
Can we go out and play? Yes, that's a hit right there. It's going to be a hit. That's also released as a single, too. But www.canwegooutandplay.com.
All right. Well, I appreciate you so much, Mr. Patten. And I know you're going to do an amazing job for your first TEDx talk.
Yes, I'm preparing every day, and I'm so excited to do it. And I hope some people hear about it and come on out and see us.
June 22nd at the Orangemound Community Center.
Two sessions. The morning session starts at 9 and the afternoon session starts at 2. You'll see, if you want to see me, because the tickets are for separate sections. And for the afternoon session at 2 o'clock, I'll be the first speaker.
Yes.
I am so
You're setting the tone.
Excited. Yes, I am going to set the tone for sure.
Yes, and this is going to kick off that emotional evolution that you're trying to put out in this atmosphere.
I hope so.
Yes.
I'm ready to get out there and help some people be better.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Warren Patten Jr. You are truly amazing, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Well, thank you. Ina Esco, you've been so supportive of everything that I've tried to do here, and I'm excited to get to know you a little bit better.
Yes. It's beautiful to see everything happening.
Of course. That's the way it's supposed to happen. Yes. Sometimes you have to do that.
Stay around.
I enjoy listening to you on the radio, too. I was like, I didn't know she had skills like that.
Okay. Was the running my mouth skills?
Oh, my goodness. You just jump right in and start working things.
Yes.
I was like,
you didn't know I was verbally affected.
I did not. Like I knew you were verbally affected, but I didn't know that you could roll.
Roll with the big dogs. Don't play.
I know you don't.
Don't play. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that,
thank you,
Mr. Patten. And I want to thank all of you out there that are listening to the sounds of our voices here on the Verbally Effective Podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel at Ina Esco, ENAESCO, and follow our socials at Verbally Effective. And I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.